Hi, in this video, we look at getting started with OpenAI API, image generation and manipulation with DALL-E. We will create a simple app in Python that allows you to generate images from scratch using DALL-E 3 and DALL-E 2. Finally, I'll show you how to create variations of an existing image that is also supported only by DALL-E 2. So first, let's look at how to generate an image from scratch using OpenAI's DALL-E 3. I have already created a Python project for this in Cursor, so let's launch Cursor. As you have seen here, these are all the requirements for a basic image generation using the OpenAI's DALL-E 3. First, you should install OpenAI with this pip command, pip install OpenAI. Next, you should also create an OpenAI API key by visiting this URL and generating a new API key to access your models from OpenAI. Once you generate a new API key from your OpenAI dashboard, you have to export the API key with this command. So these are all the requirements in order to generate a basic image with DALL-E 2 or DALL-E 3. So in this Python file, we want to generate a basic image from scratch using DALL-E 3. So the first thing to do is to import OpenAI. Then we create a new OpenAI client. Next, we specify the user query. That is the prompt we want to use for the image generation. So here that uses an input form. We can also use a hard-coded prompt. So let's copy this one. Once we run the file, we will first get the input form. Then we enter the prompt. So we are going to use this same prompt. Next, we create a response by using the client to make an OpenAI API call. So we access the image generation API and create a new image by specifying all these parameters. So here we are going to use DALL-E 3. You can also use DALL-E 2, but with DALL-E 3, we get a better image. Next, we have the prompt. So with this prompt, we are going to use the user query we specified here. Then we specify the size of the image. Over here, we have the standard image sizes the model supports. You can also modify the code and specify a custom size. But for now, we are going with this standard size. Next, we have the quality of the image. Over here, we have two options. We can specify the image quality as standard, or we can specify it as high definition. With high definition, we get a better image than standard. Next, we specify the number of images we want to generate. With DALL-E 3, we have only one option. You can generate only one image, but once you use DALL-E 2, you can generate up to 10 images. So using DALL-E 3, it is not allowed to even generate 2 images, so let's leave it as 1. Next, we specify the response format as URL. You can also remove this parameter. By default, we get the same URL as the response format. Another parameter you can specify is the style of the image. Over here, we have two options. We have vivid and natural. So those two parameters determine how vivid or how natural you want the image to be. Let's leave it as vivid. You can also experiment with natural. The next thing we should do is to take the first index of the image object and guess its URL. Finally, we print the image URL. So let's go to the terminal and run this file with Python 3 followed by the file name. I will expand the terminal a bit and press the return key. So since we are not using a hard-coded user prompt, we need to specify the prompt at runtime. So let's paste the prompt and press the return key again. That will take a while. So over here, we now have a URL to copy and view the image in the browser. So let's go to the browser and add a new tab and paste the URL here. So this is the image we generate from the prompt. Let's go back to the code and, for example, change the style from vivid to natural. We save the file, then I'll clear everything here and run the file again. And use the same prompt, then I'll press the return key. So I just want to show you the difference between the natural and the vivid style. So let's copy the new URL and view it in the browser again. So I'm going to remove this one and paste the new one with the natural style. So this is how to generate and manipulate images from scratch using OpenAI's DALL-E 3. Let's move on to the next. So in this example, I want to show you how to generate an image and also modify the image further by specifying a style using template. So as before, we import OpenAI and also create a new OpenAI client and specify the user prompt. Here we want an Apple AirPods Max. Next, we create a prompt template to modify the original prompt. So over here, we get the image of the Apple AirPods Max and make it an illustration style. Next, we create a new prompt and pass the user prompt to the prompt template. Then we create a response and use the client to generate the image. In this example, we are using DALL-E 3 as the model. So we need to pass the prompt. Then we define the size of the image and the quality. Let's leave the quality as standard. We will use the same prompt to generate another version for high definition. The next thing to do is to take the text index of the image object and guess its URL. Finally, we print out the image URL. So let's go back to the terminal and clear everything. Then we run this file with Python 3 followed by the file name. So we now have the URL. Let's copy that and go to the browser. I will remove this and paste the new one. So this is our generated Apple AirPods Pro Max with standard quality in an illustration style. Let's go back to the code again and modify it to use high definition. Then I'll clear the terminal and run the file again. So I'll copy the new URL to view it in the browser. That gives our new AirPods Pro Max in a high definition quality with an illustration style template. Let's move on to the last example. Over here, we are going to create a variation of an existing image. This example supports only DALL-E 2. So let's go back to Cursor to demonstrate this example. Similar to the previous examples, here we import OpenAI and create a new OpenAI client. Then we specify the prompt. Over here, we are using an existing image. I have already added this image, so that is this image. We open the image as readable binary. Next, we create a response and use the client to create a new image variation. We specify the number of images and the image size. Then we take the text index of the image object and guess its URL and print the image URL. Since we are using DALL-E 2 in this example, you can generate up to 10 images, but let's leave the number of images as 1. So let's clear the terminal and run this file, generate image variation.py. So let's copy the URL and open it in the browser. So this is how to get started with image generation and manipulation using OpenAI's DALL-E.